Okay, so now let's talk about time blocking and flow. So we want discipline and flow. We don't want discipline. We don't want no discipline and no flow. So think about a game, like game of like football. So football or any game is only fun because there are rules, right? Within the rules, you can be creativity. You can unfold yourself within the rules, right? Games are not fun without rules. The same as like your day. You want your day to have some balance of structure and creativity, structure and space. Now, it should be said that if there are too many rules, then we won't have fun either, right? Too many rules kills the fun, kills the vibe. It makes it just like a robot, right? So you don't want that either. So you want space for creativity to come out. Creativity comes out when there's space and structure makes room for space, the right amount of structure. So think about the room that you're in right now. I'm in a room, you're in a room, right? The room has structure to it. And within the structure, there's space, right? The structure literally makes room for space. The structure is what creates the space. Without the structure, there's no space. Or, without the structure, it's just, the structure is what makes room for space. So your day, this is true physically, and it's also true of like your time and your day, right? So if you didn't have a thing like this, if you didn't time block it out, then your day is not structured. And the analogy for this, think of like a river as being like the ideal. Um, when your day has no structure, it's like a swamp. Your energy becomes like a swamp. It becomes stagnant and still and actually dirty, right? A swamp becomes unclean, right? And a lot of our meditation practice goes like this because we don't know how to add structure into our meditation practice. Our spiritual practice becomes unstructured. It becomes like a swamp and we stagnate and it starts to smell bad. And our day, right? Our day, like if you're an online entrepreneur, you are, uh, you it's hard because your day is unstructured sometimes. And this can make your energy like a big swamp. Okay. There's not enough structure, too much creativity, not enough structure, and you end up stagnating. Okay. What we want to do is create some structure, but not too much because if you have too much structure, it becomes like a dam. Okay. It becomes like a dam. So, like, nothing breaks through and it just feels bad. It's obstructive, it's repressing. So like trying to meditate with like too many rules or like checking too much what you're doing or like criticizing yourself or if your time block looked like more intense and there was no breaks, it was just like everywhere, there's like every moment was accounted for. That's too much structure. We can't do that. It's too much structure. We cannot, nobody can do that. Okay. There needs to be space. Or, like look at how within this category, for example, there's structure, the square is the structure, and there's space within the structure. Now, when you get to the moment of a time block and you're like, what should I do? Try to use this analogy of structure and space and just think that you are now within a structure and that now you have some space. You cannot make yourself do the activity that you want to do, but you can inspire yourself and you can make space for creativity to come because we want what we do to be inspired. Okay. Which means we have to learn to say no to other things so that we can actually focus on what we're doing. Right. One of the best ways to focus for me is when I literally like have nothing else to do. When I realize there's nothing else that I could be doing, this is the only thing that I can do. That's when I focus with all my energy on it. And we really want to do this both authentically and artificially. So authentically meaning we want to authentically cross things off that are not important for us. If you're like trying to do things like maybe you found out about this new thing called Clubhouse on the phone and you're like, oh, I need an iPhone for Clubhouse and oh, maybe I should be spending time on Clubhouse. I did it like for a couple days, but it's taking my energy and basically I don't need another thing to do. Or maybe you find out about a new app, Twitter Spaces, which is the same thing as Clubhouse. Or you're like, oh, everybody else has a podcast. Maybe I should do a podcast, or maybe I should do a blog. I should probably do a blog, or whatever, right? You might have, or like, in-person events. I should do events in person, or whatever, right? So you have these ideas, or, I'm going to write another, I didn't finish my first book, but let me write another book. So you might have ideas that are not priorities. And if you add them to your to-do list, you have just too many things to focus on. So even if you time block it effectively, even if you time block it well, it's going to be hard to pour your energy into each segment because there's literally like too much else on your plate. Okay. And your mind is going to be like trying to go deep, but then it's going to get pulled into all these different things. It's just going to be hard to do. So the authentic way is try to like cross off things that are not important and try to have like a singular focus. So if you're a heart-centered spiritual person looking to create an online business, I'm just going to tell you the right business model. I'm assuming you're here for business too. So we're talking about work a lot, I guess, but this is important for work. So the best business model is high ticket coaching and healing. So you create if you're a healer, add in a coaching component too, probably, and make it high ticket. High ticket, you're not selling your time, you're selling results. And it's a journey that takes 12 weeks, whatever, 6 months, I don't care, but just some kind of longer journey. And you're charging thousands of dollars for this journey. That's the model that you should have. And you should sell people on the phone in a live phone conversation. And your content is simply designed to get people onto the phone. You can do cool front-end content like challenges and webinars and workshops and stuff like that. But your goal is to get them onto the phone so you can talk to them. You do not need to build a fancy website. You do not need to do a blog. You do not need to do other things. However, yeah, some people have podcasts and stuff. I'm not going to say don't have a podcast, but what I'm going to say is don't let those things obstruct your effort. You need a way to get clients. So if podcasting gives you clients, do it. If Facebook gives you clients, do it. You don't need to do too many different things. Okay. So we need to find a way to like optimize a strategy that actually works. Okay. And if you're trying to get spiritual transformations, the rest of this video series is going to help you with that. Okay. The Self-Love 7 is like a very special method to get results spiritually, to grow spiritually. So we should be putting that kind of stuff on our plate, and whatever kind of creative work we're doing, we need to prioritize it so that we're only doing important things, and that we have to give ourselves permission to say no to things that are not important for us. Okay. And this includes like distractions in our life, such as, oh, this person wants to go out for dinner. This person wants to go to Disney World. This person wants to, do this, go to this bar or go to this concert, or this person wants to, remodel the house, or this person wants to, like we get pulled away by physical things too. Or our own projects. Like, this is the great time. I should change the tile in the bathroom. Okay, maybe it is, but maybe it's not, right? Maybe it's time to say no to that. And it's time to focus on something more important, because here's the test. Here's how you find your priorities. When you die, what are you going to look back on your life and feel proud of? When you die, how are you going to feel about all the things that you're doing right now? Are you going to think, wow, I'm so happy that I started that blog that nobody read? Am I happy that my website looked nice? Am I happy that I redid my bathroom 10 times, or that I went to that concert, or am I happy that I spent my nights drinking wine and watching Netflix? Is that what made my life better? Like with Netflix, is that what made my life better? Scrolling my stupid Instagram feed, did that make me a better person? What are your priorities? We need to say no to things that are not important, even things that might feel important and that at another time would be important, but they're not important right now. Okay. So we need to this is why space and time are like the same thing, right? We have to create space and time for ourselves to do important things. You have to literally like push them out. You're not saying no forever. Sometimes you just be like, right now, I'm not going to do it. Right now, it's not important that I go to that concert, that I go out to dinner, that I meet that friend, or that I watch Netflix, or that I scroll my Instagram, or that I get into Clubhouse, or that I create this stupid tech thing, or that I write my second book when I didn't write my first book, right? Or let me learn this new little hobby that never is going to be that important for me. So say no. You have to say no to things. That's part of this. Like what I really should do next time I do this, I'm going to draw a circle around the whole thing. And then you can write stuff on the outside of like stuff that I'm not going to do that doesn't even make it onto the calendar. Like what are some things that aren't important enough to put on here? I'm going to make space so you can write them outside of here so you can remember that you're not going to do them. Like number one, social media apps and Netflix. Write them outside here. You don't need them, right? Going to concerts, drinking wine, smoking pot. Those things go outside the circle. They're not important enough to make time for those things. Those things rob your energy. They're not just like neutral, they're actually negative. Drinking and smoking and Netflix and concerts actually take away your life. They actually take away your energy, your mental capacity. Now, of course, some concerts might be important. Obviously, if it's the weekend and you're like, this is the right thing, then go to the concert, of course. But you get what I'm saying. We need to have a way, a boundary of saying no to things that are not important. Like if you can't do that, you're never going to master space and time. You will never master your life. If you can't say no to things that are not good for you, you will never master your life. That is the foundation of mastering your life. We're going to get into this in the full Self-Love 7 in the space about boundaries and energy mastery. But we need to learn to say no and to, say no to things that are bad for you. Like how good are you at saying no to things that are bad for you? How good are you at saying no to things that are neutral for you? How good are you at saying no to things that are technically good for you, but actually at this time would be a distraction? Yeah, how good are you at saying no to things that are actually great for you, but at this time they're a distraction and you're going to say yes to them later, but say no to them right now? How good are you at that? Okay. We need to become better at it. Whatever you're at, you need to become better. We all need to become better. This is not a judgment. We're all learning to become better at this. And one way to do that is to take out a piece of paper and write a circle and write all the things that you're going to do, and around it write all the things that you're not going to do. And if I were to do this again, I would do it like that, where I'd actually write out the stuff that I'm not going to do. Okay. And it's just a practice. It's not about putting it on paper either. Like the paper doesn't do it. Your mind does. You have to mentally, energetically be able to just say no to it. And you need to be able to remember that decision in the moment where it counts. And you need to be able to hold on tight and stick with that decision in the moment where it counts. Okay. And somebody might be trying to convince you otherwise. Somebody might be talking to you, trying to get you to say yes. And you need to check with yourself. Is this the right thing for me? And if it's the wrong thing or the wrong thing right now, or just not the highest thing, just say no. And that will give you space to do the important things. That will give you space to do important things in your own life. Okay, so this is extremely important. Now, if you do this part well, this part is so good that I think I'm just going to end this video here so you can think about it. And we'll come again in the next video so I can take it a little bit deeper.